Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Hello.
On a Mission. I love that trailer so much that our editors put together. It's
I know,
so
right?
80s. It's so the vibe.
It gets you so ready for Living on the Edge, which is so appropriate. A little Aerosmith, a little rock and roll. This is so exciting. We're getting ready for a few days away from Living on the Edge in San Antonio. Are you excited, Melanie?
I am so looking forward to this event. Let me tell you, first of all, no offense to Conroe, but I do love it when we're in San Antonio because that's my hometown. And I love the people of San Antonio, and I love the energy, and I love the fact that we're also doing this for charity for the kids of the Boys and Girls Club of the Salvation Army. So I'm very excited. I'm very looking forward to all of our events here in San Antonio, but this one especially is going to be a big one. Now we have the four-way for the championship match with Holiday, Jasmine Allure, Brittany Blake, Zoe Sky. I mean, the names just keep getting bigger and bigger. So I'm just very excited for this match.
I know that is a huge announcement that was made this week. And that's so exciting. Like a fatal four-way with those four. There's a lot of history with Holiday and Jasmine. We'll definitely see that bubble up to the surface again in San Antonio. It's a battle. They keep, as Holiday. Did you see Holiday's promo, by the way, Melanie?
I did see Holiday's promo. I'm actually curious. What is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre match, and can we do it? I know that on Twitter, Thunder Rosa, our mighty esteemed leader, said there was nothing in the budget for a casket match, but I'm sure we could find a sponsor.
Did you see how many sponsors stepped up and were tagged in that post? So if you have all not seen it, go to Mission Pro Wrestling's Twitter and Instagram. See Holiday, our Mission Pro Champions promo, because she wants a casket match. She wants a Texas Chainsaw Massacre match. She is ready for anything. And at this point, she is champion. And, who knows? This might just be a thing that she's saying, hey, we're going to get all these things.
I mean, I feel like whatever the champ wants, the champ gets. So if she wants the Texas Chainsaw Massacre match, if she wants a ladders match, if she wants the
body bag
casket match.
Yeah, there needs to be a casket match, a body bag match.
Let her have it. Let's do it. Let's find a way to get it done. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we're only what are we in? We're a couple months away from October. We could work on it. We could work on this.
Okay, so one of our fans and sponsors also mentioned maybe a piñata match. I'm not sure what that would entail, but I feel like that would be messy. But
yeah, a little bit. But also, there is still sponsorship available, guys. If you are wanting to sponsor a wrestler or a match, or if you want to sponsor the show, just email missionprowrestling@gmail.com.
Yes, please do that. That's here, hold on. Here's our little flyer. There you go. You can sponsor for April 16th, for May 14th. Yes, so email, as Melanie said. We have wrestlers available, as well as show or future matches. It's an incredible way to get involved in Mission Pro, be a part of the Mission Pro family, and your family for life once you sponsor with us and support these amazingly talented wrestlers. So,
and don't forget, if you are a show sponsor, you get little freebies. Even if you're a wrestler sponsor, there's little freebies that you get at a certain point, at a certain level. So don't wait, jump in. If you see your favorite wrestler, or if you see a wrestler, jump in and sponsor them, because it also lets them know that people are out there and that you guys love them. So it's a great way.
Exactly. Brian Rosa is in the chat. Welcome. He has a very tough question, so the man of Mission Pro, JP Harlow, I guess that's his moniker now, but he has his upcoming match as well this weekend. But the real question that Brian's bringing up, who is the real Mission Pro?
Oh,
man. Let the fans answer.
Yikes. You know what? I'm going Brian Rose on that one. I think Brian is the real man of Mission Pro. I mean, he's been there since the beginning. He's the, the godfather of Mission Pro.
That's true. That's true. He's silent in the background, always watching.
Exactly, always watching. Speaking of always watching, I've been watching Ava for a while, so I'm very excited that she's finally not only booked on this show, but that she's going to be joining us in a little bit. But if people haven't been following her journey, they really should be. She's been making waves in wrestling, and she's, now she's teaming up with Davian, who we'll talk to about it in a little bit. But, even in her own words, she's faced her a couple of times in her career. So now to be working together, that's always an interesting dynamic to go from seeing them across the ring to being in the same corner as you. So I'd love to talk to her and get her take about how that's going to happen on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, we can bring her on in a few seconds. But yeah, she has a huge match coming up. Why don't we bring her on and just start chatting with her? And everyone, please join in on the chat. Ava hasn't been on a mission before, and she's making her huge debut at Mission Pro and in Texas. So we're very excited. And so I want to welcome Ava to On a Mission.
Hello.
Welcome, Ava. Hi. How are you doing this evening?
I am awesome. Thank you for asking. How are you guys?
We're good.
Great.
So I was just talking about how you and Davian have faced each other a couple of times. But now you guys won't be across the ring from each other. You guys are going to be the same ring. How does the dynamic change? How does the mindset change going from competition now to, cohorts to tag team partners?
I think it's really cool. Earlier, I was chatting with Emily, and I actually filled her in that my very first match ever was against Davian. So we wrestled a couple times, more like 1,000 times, but we're really close. We trained together, and we've actually tagged before at Limitless and a couple other different promotions. So I'm really, really excited to step in the ring with her again. We're best friends in real life, so we know like the absolute ins and outs of each other and who we are. So we're really fluid. We're really together. We're really on the same page. So I'm so excited because I have not been in the ring with her since oh my gosh, for probably like a year or so. It's been quite some time.
Wow. So so Davian is your best friend, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
How is that? How is that working with someone that you know so well? I know you talked a little bit about it, but I feel like, you know so much about your moveset, but also like personally. And so do you have to separate that a little bit when you're in the ring, when you're focused on your opponent?
I don't think so much. I think that like inside and outside of the ring, we have a lot of the same goals and aspirations. And we have like the same mindset. I feel like a lot of times like our brains are wired the same exact way. So it only makes each other stronger because we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, we know what we have to do in order to succeed. So something that I can't do, she can do. Something she can't do, I can do. So it only makes us stronger as a unit, which I think is something super unique that you don't always find in a tag team. So I find that a lot of times we're really cohesive. And it just like makes me excited that I'm getting to debut with her.
How does it you think that's going to translate? Because I mean, you are going up against Renegade twins, and they're twins, they're sisters. I mean, they're training partners. So do you think the best friend cohesion is going to outwork this sisterly bond in the ring? Like, how do you guys come up with that kind of like dynamic to try to counteract theirs?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I think it's a super tough situation when you're with when you have opponents that have literally grown together. They are sisters. I'm sure they do everything together. You always see like the Renegade twins, like they are always a unit. And it is something difficult because like you guys have mentioned before, I know that Davienne and I have tagged, but we've also been opponents. So it's something that we both have been chatting about. Like, we know that we have to adapt to, because I do think it's difficult to, like come up against two individuals that have literally they shared the womb, so they almost have that like twin telepathy, like they're always on the same page, they know exactly what's coming next. So it kind of just puts me and Davienne in a position where we know we have to be on our A game, and we're ready to be on our A game. So I'm really excited to share the ring with her and have the Renegade twins as our debut, well, my debut and her return. It's a lot, but we're excited and we're like training and getting to it. So
yeah, I mean, it really is exciting.
Yeah.
Brian mentioned in the chat that you look too nice to face the Renegade twins.
I'm not nice.
This
is a Brian. All right.
Brian likes to stir up a little something, but do you have a response to that and what you'll bring to the ring?
I can't give up all my secrets, so I'm going to let Brian think that I'm really nice, and we're going to leave it at that.
All right. So you're heading to Texas, and this is your first time in Texas.
It is.
So are you excited to see San Antonio? Is there something that you want to look and see? Because Melanie is a great tour guide. She can show you around.
Hey, we're gonna visit Texas together then. Yeah, I'm really excited. I've never been to Texas, so you're gonna have to take me around. I love food, so we'll have to go get food somewhere. That's like always whenever I go to a new location, I'm like,
yeah,
where can we eat?
I mean, we all love
absolutely.
Food. Yeah,
I'm all about the Texas food. Hell yeah. I am curious. So when you heard, okay, I'm going to Mission Pro, I'm going to Texas, what's the first thought when you're like, oh, damn, Texas? What's the first thought that comes into your mind? I'm always curious how people perceive Texas.
I was really excited, to be honest, like more than anything. I think as like wrestlers in general, you always kind of have that bucket list of like wanting to wrestle everywhere. So to me, it was like, oh, cool, new state. I've never been there. I've literally never even gone on vacation. So it's like I get to wrestle there and I get to be there for the first time. So I was like, all right, let's go. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Are you a traveler to where you have to, like, even if you don't make it to those destinations, you're like, okay, I know, like, let's say the Alamo is in San Antonio. I'm going to put that down. I know the Riverwalk. I'm going to put that. Because I travel with a little book of places that if I get a chance, those are the places I would like to visit. Do you do the same when you go to different places?
Yeah, I think it depends on like how much time I had have in that area. I know I've been to a couple places now that it's like, oh, I've been there, but I haven't done all that much. So I hope I have a little bit of extra time, because I'd love to go and like sightsee and do a little bit of everything. But I think mostly when I like go to wrestle, my brain is very focused on like, okay, I'm going to wrestle, I'm going to an event, I'm going to share the ring with someone. So sometimes it's a little bit hard, because sometimes I'm super tunnel visioned into like why I'm going there. So I don't always think of like, hey, I want to go sightsee, or I want to go do these sort of things. Like, I probably should a little bit live my life a little bit more, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult because I just get so zoned in on why I'm going there.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally understandable. And speaking of traveling, I know we chatted about this a little bit earlier, but you just came back from Europe, from Germany.
Yes.
And someone in the chat asked, how is wrestling in Europe different than the US? Can you talk a little bit about your journey to get there and what that's been like?
Yeah, it was a really cool experience. So I was there for 2 months. I left in February. I actually just got back yesterday. So I was there. I was there for 2 months. It was really a cool experience because it was very different. I went more specifically, I was in Germany for most of it, but I was also in the UK. I think it was different for me in regards to a lot of times when I'm here in the US, I have a lot of intergender matches. So mostly when I was there, I didn't do as much intergender. So it was a really cool experience for me because I got to share the ring with women, which I love to do because I love women's wrestling and I just want to make it, like I want to keep doing. I want women to get more involved and like do more. So like I'm excited. That's why I'm coming to like Mission Pro too. It's like an all women's promotion. So I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. But I think it was a cool experience because I got to do more like as a woman. Like we did more like women's matches. It was cool. It was like a different experience because it wasn't like doing so much intergender, which I do all the time here. So
Why do you think that is? Why do you think you get into a lot of intergender matches? I'm always curious because I know that when we were at GCW, Trisha Dora says that too. She's been in a lot of intergender matches, and she loved the fact that being at Mission Pro, there was a lot more women's matches, and of course, she got to go against Thunder Rosa. So
yeah, that's cool.
on her debut, which I feel like that's even more pressure.
But I think for me, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think for me, so when I first started out, I did a lot of women's matches. I think it more so transitioned into mostly intergender matches recently because the main promotion that I work for, I actually am in a tag team with two men. So I think it came a lot to like, we're always in a tag. So it was already like an intergender tag team that I'm in. So it turned into just mostly us working just like everybody. So
sounds good. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, it makes you a more like well-rounded wrestler when you're able to kind of mix and match your opponents.
Yeah.
And speaking of opponents, is there anyone on your dream bucket list?
Yeah. So actually, being in Germany, I was working mostly for WXW. So during 16 Karat weekend, Lufisto was there. She was like the first ever woman to be in like the 16 Karat tournament. And I've known her since I started, but I've never had the opportunity to share the ring with her. So seeing her at 16 Karat and talking to her in the locker room, I was like, oh, I want to wrestle Lufisto so bad. So she's like my number one right now. But I have like, I feel like everybody has like this long shopping list of like people are like, I want to work so many people. But Lufisto's like I'm like, please somebody.
I feel like since even since the pandemic, with a lot of the newer wrestlers coming out, and then of course a lot of new promotions and stuff like that, I feel that people's bucket lists have gotten even longer because of the fact that now it's more accessible and there's more places for women's wrestling. Because I've noticed that before the pandemic, they're like, well, I'm not really going to be able to wrestle her there. I would like to, but not going to make it. I know it's not going to happen. But people's lists have gotten bigger. Have you found that to be like, found that out for yourself as we've gotten out of the pandemic ish?
Yeah, absolutely. And then even for me, it got a little bit longer too, because a lot of us were doing tapings during, COVID era. And then it turned into like actual wrestling, and then a bunch of like new promotions started up. And then I went to Europe. So then it got even longer because I met all of these people that mostly wrestle in Europe and that haven't been over to the States. So it was like, I'm just adding to the list. How am I going to fit all of this in?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone's list adapts and changes over the course of the years as you do more shows and get more involved. I mean, we've spoken to so many people like Melanie and I through the pandemic, and like have seen so many people adapt to how they wrestle, to how they train, to how like their whole mindset, change their brand, evolve their brand. How was your experience? Because I know you were doing TV tapings during that time, and you kind of had to kind of evolve what you were doing.
Yeah, I had a full evolution of character. I think right before like the pandemic, so almost 2 years ago, I had a lot of like weird nagging injuries. that I kind of was like at my wit's end with wrestling because I was just like hurting all the time. I wasn't super happy with like who I was as a character and a wrestler. I was just like really feeling super down and I was just hurting. And then COVID happened and everything shut down and there were no tapings and no nothing. And I think I just got into this mindset where I was like, I need to completely reinvent myself because I'm not loving what I'm doing and I'm not loving myself. I just wasn't happy with anything I was doing. So it gave me the opportunity to completely start from scratch. Like I think that for the most part, I'm a completely different person now than I was, 2 years ago when COVID really like happened. So
Yeah.
it was sad because I think a lot of people missed out on a lot of opportunities because the world shut down. But for me, it it gave me the opportunity to love myself more and restart and refresh. So I was really happy with like that kind of break. Yeah, it gave me time to like revitalize.
Yeah, I mean that's so important
Yeah.
to like recognize that and then focus and reshift. It's part of everyone's journey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have talked about that before with other wrestlers that, during the pandemic, it was a time to find yourself and say, okay, this is my journey. I'm going to stick with wrestling or I'm going to, I'm going to depart from it. No hard feelings with wrestling, shake hands and it's goodbye.
Yeah.
But I think those who stayed with wrestling, I think they solidified their love of it and they found a newfound love of it because you took your mindset away from that grind for a second to reevaluate who you were as a wrestler and, the matches you were having and everything else. But I think everybody had to take that time just for a second and breathe. And, so I love that your journey was positive and you came out of it a new Ava.
Thank you.
Brian is asking, who did you do TV tapings for?
I mostly worked for so I train at New England Pro Wrestling Academy and they are affiliated with Chaotic Wrestling in Massachusetts. So I was doing tapings for them, but I mostly did tapings for Limitless Wrestling in Maine. And I'm sure I did a few like random things here and there too, but mostly Limitless.
Awesome. I mean, so we talked a little bit about this earlier, and I would love to know, like you were speaking about like your identity and like who Ava is. And I wanted to learn a little bit more about the visionary, the creator, what makes you that in wrestling?
Yeah. So I think to me, I really feel like wrestling it's everybody perceives wrestling differently, right? And in my brain and the way that I'm wired, I have always been so intrigued by like performance art and theater and like being like over the top. And I wanted to, when I was reinventing myself, like I wanted to love what I was doing. And I was like, how do I love being a wrestler more? To me, it was like, well, I love being over the top. I grew up doing theater. Like I love art. I love creativity. And I was like, I want to implement those different pieces and meld them into who I am as a wrestler.
I love it. I mean, I feel like every wrestler puts a little piece of themselves in what they do. Can I ask you? So I'm a theater kid as well. Like I grew up in the theater. That was my life. Did you do like plays and musicals and things like that? Or like, okay. Oh my gosh. All right.
I did.
Do you have a favorite?
It's hard. Like in terms of like shows that I participated in, one of my favorites that I did, like I was either a sophomore or a junior in high school. Like my brain is a little bit, We did Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and that was so fun. But I grew up doing theater, and I also grew up like singing in choral groups as well. And I did that throughout high school and college as well. So I've always done a little bit of like everything in the performance world, like the musical theater performance world. So
Sounds good. I mean,
yeah,
that's my favorite. I mean,
you're, you're like me too.
I mean, I'll blast a good musical theater album, all day.
Yeah, yeah.
Melanie,
So we
you have
have
a
a question.
question?
I'll just say we have a question in the chat. Just since you do travel internationally, they want to know, is AAA on your list of places that you'd like to go? AAA in Mexico.
I'd love to. So it's so cool. I think once you've gone to another country. So like I've wrestled in the US. I wrestled in Canada too, but it's kind of like you still drive to go to Canada because I'm from like the Northeast. I live in Florida, but I'm from the Northeast. So going to Canada is still like, oh, well, it still kind of feels like America because I drove here, you know? So it was cool like going to Europe. And then it gives you like the travel bug. It like makes you, it's like, I want to get on a plane and I want to be on a plane for 10 hours again to go and get new experiences and like train and wrestle somewhere else. So I mean, I'd love to go to AAA. I feel like it's super different too. Like way different than American wrestling and even like European wrestling. So I think that would be something that would help me be a little bit more well-versed too in the ring. So I think it'd be cool.
And we've asked, because you were very well traveled, so we've asked people in the past, what is your worst hard travel story? Because everybody has one,
Has them.
and they're all so wildly different. So we want to know, what is your worst travel story?
Mine has not been too horrible. However, most recently, actually, when I was coming home on Monday, so I went to drop off my bags at like the gate agent or whatever, and they told me I needed to go like first of all, I waited in line for like an hour. And then on me, mostly, I wasn't super well prepared. I had to fill out some sort of form that I thought I had filled it out, but I like filled out the wrong one. So they told me to go to the back of the line. I filled it out. Now, the line was so long by the time I went to the back of the line. So an hour and a half again goes by. This is like a really full flight. I guess everybody had bags. I don't know if it was a connector to somewhere. I don't know what was going on, but it was the craziest I've ever waited in line. And then once I got to the line, the flight was already like boarding. And I knew that like obviously they weren't going to like leave without me because I just dropped off my bag. So I had a little bit of leeway, but here's the problem. They printed out my ticket for me. They see my gate number. And I'm like, okay, I have a little bit of time. I go to the gate that's printed on the ticket, and I look up at the computer, and it says, like gate C whatever to Istanbul. And I'm like, okay, like boarding technically has already started. So like maybe it's just like, I don't know, like maybe it's the next flight that's leaving from that gate is just on the screen now. It's no longer my screen. So I'm like, oh, I must have time because there wasn't anybody waiting. So I like go to the ladies' room. I like get my stuff together. I like bought myself a water or whatever because I had a connector and I wanted to like refresh myself. And then I'm like standing there a little bit longer and I'm like, this is like not right. They're not making any announcements. This is weird. So then I like go over and I look at the computer screen and they printed the wrong gate number on my ticket. So I had to run across the the entire like floor, and I get to the gate, and they literally, I was like the last person to get on that plane, I swear. And of course, like I have super high anxiety too, so this doesn't seem that horrible, but of course my heart is like racing because I'm like, I just want to go home. I've been here for 2 months. Like they printed the wrong gate number, and I'm like, so I keep looking at the ticket too because I'm like, maybe I read it wrong. But I'm like, there's no way. It says C like 14, and it was like C 16 or something to the gate or was whatever. But it was just horrible. And it was like so early in the morning. My brain's already not working, but I was just a little upset because like it was printed the wrong gate.
Oh,
but yeah, for the most part, I've had flights cancel, and I've been at the airport and had flights cancel. But that was just like the most my heart's ever raced, and like people are gonna be like, "That's not horrible at all."
That's horrible.
That's not horrible at
that's
all.
horrible. No, I mean that could derail your whole
I would have like
your whole
missed
trip.
Yeah, it would have. And I just wanted to go home.
I'm glad you got home. So we also we're huge fans of road trip snacks and road trip playlists. And so it sounds like you and Davian have probably gone on a few road trips together.
Yeah.
Do you have like your go-to songs that you listen to? And we got to know your snacks.
Yeah, so Davey and I have been in the car together like 1,000,001 times. She's a huge country music fan. And I'm fine with country music. I like it, but I also worked at a restaurant that only played country music for like 4 years, but it was like the same playlist, and they could never turn off the music because it wouldn't update new songs if you turned it off at all. Like it would update overnight, so you had to constantly keep the music on. So I wasn't like I did all of like I have a bachelor's degree in marketing, so I do all of the marketing for the restaurant. So I was there super early in the morning, and I would be in the office and just hear country music because I did like a 9 to 5 and just country all the time. So she's very nice. And we compromise. So sometimes we listen to a little bit of country, but a lot of times we do like 2000s pop or 90s pop, anything to kind of like break up a little bit of monotony. But anything like 90s 2000s is cool for us. And it's hard in terms of like snacks. I have a sweet tooth really bad. I eat a lot of Twizzlers if I'm going to shows. I don't know why. I always buy one of those big bags of Twizzlers, and then I like have a few on the way there, and then I try to save it so I can eat it on the way home. And then usually by the time I have none left, because like after my match, I'm like, let me inhale these. I deserve this.
No, wait. Does it have to be Twizzlers, or do Red Vines also like? Can you substitute?
I'm sorry, it has to be Twizzlers.
Yeah, okay.
They're not different texture.
I have nothing against Red Vines. I'm just a Twizzler person. I think it's because like it's weird. Twizzlers are kind of like hard. I don't know how to explain it.
Yes.
Like, they're like tough to like rip apart. I don't know. I just like the texture.
Do you do the straw with the soda or a drink?
No. I don't like the pull apart ones. No. They're too chewy.
And then Brian has a question. He says, he loved your match with Danhausen. She says you're not nice, but did he curse you?
Yeah.
Did he curse you?
Did he curse me? I believe he did. But I don't think it worked because I've had some cool stuff happen.
Okay.
And I mean, other than like weird snowstorms and flights during the winter, I haven't had any super bad luck. So let's hope his curse is I like broke the spell.
Okay. Or maybe he just gave broke it. You broke it. Or it's a very specific curse.
Yeah. Or it hasn't like kicked in yet.
All right. We'll cross our fingers.
Mindrunner's in the chat, and he wants to know because who are your influences, both wrestler, non-wrestler, because of the expression, your promos and your gear and everything.
Yes. So in regards to like gear, I've done a lot of different things. Like I've done Power Rangers, I've done Britney Spears, but more so right now, that really, really weird, but I have a lot of influence from like I want to think Lizzie McGuire meets Poppy and Grimes. So riddle me that. But yeah, it's like a weird, super like alternative influence. But also 2000s.
I love that. I love that.
was to say, I love Lizzie McGuire. I was like, so far, I've
It's
never.
so strange.
That to me,
I've never
I've
seen that
never heard a
before.
wrestler go, Lizzie
No.
McGuire has been my influence.
I just like think of her all the time when I do. This is really weird, but honestly, I don't care. Like a lot of times, I just like when I'm like, oh, I want new gear, or oh, I'm gonna get a shirt, or oh, I'm gonna like do something. I'm like, would Lizzie McGuire wear this? And then if I think yes, I'll wear it.
Okay. Well, sometimes you have to channel that persona, that character. You got to bring her to life a little bit.
Absolutely.
And you do, right?
I try to.
Mind Runner is Poppy McGuire.
I'm no longer Ava.
You're no longer Ava. You're Poppy McGuire. There you go. We give people new names on the show.
Yeah,
Hey,
quick
might
change.
as well. Might as well.
Man, everybody in the chat is like, yeah, hell yeah, Twizzlers.
I know.
Twizzlers!
They love the Twizzlers over Red Vines. I think you won over some fans, and don't be alarmed if people send you Twizzlers now.
Hey, I'll take them. I'll take anything.
A lot of fans.
All right, there you go, guys. Bring Twizzlers to the show. If you're coming to the show, bring Twizzlers.
Twizzlers and energy
come
drinks.
Prepared. Energy drinks, exactly. Twizzlers and energy drinks. only the best and the healthiest.
Yes, of course.
I love it.
Super healthy diet in my household.
So we know you're in training right now, but we want to know, like, how often do you train? Because it always astounds people how much time and energy goes into your craft and what you do. So how often do you train, and then where do you train?
So it varies. Because I live in Orlando, but I'm from Massachusetts, and so when I'm in Massachusetts, I train at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy, and they have class pretty much for the most part almost every day of the week. However, it's like split into different classes. So when I'm in Massachusetts and I'm training, I'm probably here like 2 to 3 times a week. And then in Florida, it's a little bit different. I've trained at a couple of different places. Right now, I've been training at Catchworks with Anthony Green and Simon Gotch. And that's like once or twice a week. It's a little bit different because they also run like different classes with like certain like levels. And then most recently when I was in Germany, I was traveling, I was training at WXW Academy, and I was training there like 2 to 3 times a week as well. So I try to be in the ring every single week. And then when I'm not in the ring, we watch a lot of wrestling at my house. So like constant tape study of like, what are we watching? Why are we watching? Why are they doing the things that they do? And like all different types of wrestling too, because you don't want to watch like the same exact thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we watch wrestling at my house almost every single day. And that can be overkill for a lot of people. And then for the most part, shows are on the weekends. So in a weird way, shows are almost kind of like a weird break because you're not watching and you're not training, you're performing. So we're constant, like wrestling is constantly like something wrestling happens in my life every day. Like we're super like wrestling all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I feel like people don't realize it, even though we've talked about it with other wrestlers. People don't realize this isn't like, oh, I'm going to go in and train once a week, or I'll train next week because I'm having a show. This is a constant 24/7. I have to maintain my craft and my skill. I have to train. And just like you said, you're in Massachusetts, you're training. You're in Florida, you're training. You're in Germany, you're training. There's no days off for you guys. You have to constantly be working at what you're doing. And then, of course, on the weekends, you have your shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's a constant. Yeah. I mean, so you talked a little bit about like studying that tape, and like, are there any specific matches recently that you watched that you were just really into or blown away by? What things do you take away from it as you're looking at it? Do you just take away like the structure of the match itself or the show itself?
I think that one of the matches that sticks out in my brain, like most that I genuinely was like, wow, I love this match. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, most recently was one of the matches that I was just like, wow, because it was story driven and they just like worked so well together. I've been trying to watch a little bit of everything because I think that it's important that you like if you watch the same thing over and over and over again, like that's fine, but you're only learning one certain thing. So I try to change up like what I'm watching. I hope that answers your question. I know you said like a match that I recently watched I liked, and then
that's
like
perfect.
yeah.
That's great, Melanie.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then I know you're training, but we're getting a little bit close to time right now. But I just wanted to let you know, wanted to know, just what are your thoughts? Like when Holiday reached out to you and says, "Hey, I'd like to book you for Mission Pro and stuff like that." Like, what are the thoughts that go through your head, knowing that okay, you're gonna be coming to Texas. One, it's a new place. Two, it's a new crowd that you've never been before. It's third, are you in trouble because because Holiday's in your DMs? Like what's the thought process in going to like accepting a booking or taking a booking, especially such a new one?
I was really excited because I like we were saying earlier, I just spent 2 months in Europe. So it's weird because it's kind of like you almost feel like out of sight, out of mind because you're in a totally different country, right? So when she reached out to me, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like I'm really excited. I haven't I hadn't been in contact with Mission at all. So her reaching out, her and being like, hey, and then saying like, hey, we want you to tag with Davienne. It made it even more cool because I was like going to Texas for the first time, doing Mission Pro for the first time ever, and I'm with my best friend ever. So it's like it was just awesome. I was like, this is so cool. I'm so excited.
I know, and we're so excited to have you. We're just thrilled. We're excited for you to experience Texas, experience Mission Pro. And I wanted to kind of get one more question about, how have you been watching Mission Pro? Do you have like your eye on someone? I mean, I know you have your big match this weekend, but is there anyone else as Mission Pro has evolved in this last year that you've been kind of watching?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I've been watching a little bit of I watched a little bit of everything, especially like at the collective, because like I had a little bit of FOMO with everybody being in WrestleMania weekend and I was still in Europe. So I watched a little bit there and coming in as a tag team with Davienne. I mean, I always love being in sharing the ring with her. So whether it's my tag team partner or even if I wrestled her, I think that would be super cool. But more specifically, if we were to stay as a tag team, I love I'm sorry, my brain is like obviously Renegade Twins, super cool that we're having this match. And then I know that Maddie Rankowski, I think that she would be super, because we almost have like I feel like we have a lot of like similar like nuances in regards to like attitude. Like we're kind of both like like mean in a way. I don't know how else to explain it. Like I feel
Melody's gonna love that.
Like I would love to share the ring with her. I also think I mean, obviously, who doesn't want to wrestle Thunder Rosa or Holly did? Like, so excited. But like, yeah, just like.
Oh.
Oh no,
okay.
we lost her.
We lost her when we got to some juicy parts.
I know. Is when she said Holiday. Holiday is creeping around like looking for souls.
I think Holiday cut her internet.
Yeah, she was like, "That's it. This interview is over." Oh. Well, I am so glad that we were able to get Ava Everett in. See her live on Saturday. Go follow her on socials. You can catch up with her through the Mission Pro, Mission Pro Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course Mission Pro TikTok. Go follow us, and you can also follow Ava Everett. She's on Instagram as well. And she's just going to be so amazing. You guys are going to see a totally different character that Mission Pro has not had before. And then having her tag with Davian is just going to be amazing. And it's going to be an amazing, fun match. If you guys have not seen Davian in action, go back a couple shows and you'll see her. And she got her first win over Sierra. So this is going to be an exciting match too, because as you know, the twins need to be put in their place. And who better to do it but best friends and people who know each other, Ava Everett and Davian.
Exactly. The best friend duo coming into Texas to try and take the gold from the Renegade twins. It is going to be a huge show. Living on the Edge is on Saturday. Go get your tickets at missionprowrestling.net. And if you can't go see it live in San Antonio at the Salvation Army Mission Corps building, it is a new location. So it is not at the previous location. It is at a new location in San Antonio.
Right.
You can also
right there.
It's right there. The address is right there under Melanie's little box. And you can also stream it on Title Match Network. We have such a slew of incredible matches for Saturday. Also collaborating with the Hybrid School of Wrestling. And so you'll see a lot of their talent there as well.
And you're also going to see the owner of Hybrid, the head trainer of Hybrid, Coach Chris Marvel, in action with his tag team partner, Don Juan, the Texas Treats. They have decided to come back into wrestling after taking a little bit of a hiatus because of the pandemic, but they're coming back, and they're coming back strong. You guys do not want to miss it. This is one of the best tag teams in Texas. But if you ask them, it's one of the best tag teams ever, of course. But they are wonderful in the ring. Go check them out. Go check out why we team up with Hybrid as well, because a lot of those students put their heart and soul into every match, and you guys have seen it in the past, and you guys will see it on Saturday as well. And as you know, a lot of the women that are with Mission Pro, they put their heart and soul into their craft, and you will see it on Saturday, because every match, as Holiday keeps saying, is going to be an absolute banger.
Bangers only.
Bangers only. Exactly.
Well, Melanie, I know it looks like you're getting blown away there.
I am. I gotta go.
You gotta go. Where can people follow you real quick? Where can people follow you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram at TCBTX_photography. You can follow me on Facebook right there, TCBTX Melanie, hyphen Melanie. And then you can follow me on Twitter at TCBINLA. And I'm on TikTok, but you guys are gonna have to search me out. I won't make it easy for y'all.
Thank you so much, Melanie, for always joining us for On a Mission. And if you all want to follow me, you can follow me on all social platforms at Emily Mae Heller. Thank you all so much. We're going to also have a few extra special On a Mission episodes this week. So follow Mission Pro socials, because we're going to try to get all of the extra interviews and fun content for you guys leading up to Living on the Edge. So I am so excited. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel right here. Hit that little bell button to get all of those notifications. Get your tickets at missionprowrestling.net. Stream our shows on Title Match Network. And I just can't wait till Saturday. Thank you so much, Melanie. Thanks for everyone in the chat for all of your amazing interaction and questions. And we'll see you next time. Take care.